Hey, what's up YouTube? It's abluegolfball here today with another Pokemon TCG online video, and today I have for you guys a highly requested deck. You guys wanted to see this Giratina EX deck, the 170 HP Dragon-type Pokemon. It's got the ability Renegade Pulse and the attack Chaos Wheel, and what's really cool about the attack is the effect. Not so much the damage, because you're pretty much going to be hitting for 2-hit knockouts on just about anything, and besides, you know, little basics, but only does 100, and it costs 4 energies, and so the effect is what we're looking at here, and the ability is ho-hum at best. So it is 3 retreat cost, and we are weak to fairies, and yeah, that could be a little problematic, but anyways here, the Renegade Pulse prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Mega Evolution Pokemon. And again, an easy way out for your opponent would be just not to Mega Evolve. There's no nothing that forces your opponent to Mega Evolve, so it's not like we have a card on our side that says Mega Evolve your opponent. You know, you can't do that, and so your opponent can just simply choose not to Mega Evolve and attack us with their non-Mega Evolved EX Pokemon. So that's such an easy way to get around this ability. And then Chaos Wheel hits for 100 again. The effect is pretty interesting, right? Your opponent can't play any Pokemon Tool cards, which is not too big of a deal, because I'll show you guys why. We have special energies that's going to be prevented, and as well as stadium cards, which is pretty good, from their hand during their next turn. And that means, you know, that's 3 things right there, but really it's technically only 2, because what we're going to combining this is with Vileplume, with Irritating Pollen, and it says each player can't play any item cards from his or her hand, and that includes tool cards, and that's why I mentioned the tool card here in this list of, you know, isn't that impressive, because we're really just focusing on the special energies and stadium. This might come in handy if we don't get the Irritating Pollen out, and then yeah, sure, one of Pokemon tools will, you know, get locked. Sure, okay, but your opponent is not done. Even though if you get this lock going, you hit for a Chaos Wheel, your opponent can still play basic energies, they can still play supporters, and of course they can still evolve and play Pokemon. And that means that yeah, it's never too late to win, even if you're playing against a Giratina EX deck that locks you up from those kind of things. We're going to be having 2 Hydreigons here, and with the Dragon Road, this can build up and can stack on each other. So if there are any stadium cards in play, your retreat cost of each Dragon-type Pokemon is 2 less. You can see right here, Hydreigon is a 3 retreat cost, as well as Giratina EX being a 3 retreat cost, so that's pretty heavy. Having 2 of these out would give you free retreat, and that could be pretty flexible as well for these Dragon Pokemon here. We will have a Miltank here as a backup attacker, and can potentially deal with Sigilyph and Suicune if we're playing in the expanded format, but currently right now it's you know, yeah, I mean, you can still see those around. So with Powerful Friends, you get it for potentially 80, plus Muscle Band is 100. Since we're going to have Vileplume here, it's a Stage 2 Pokemon, you might as well throw in a Miltank. And then we have Shaman EX here, or for the ability setup. We'll probably never do Sky Return, and if we do, then we may as well be on the losing end of the prize exchange at some point. Yeah, so Shaman EX, really good for setting up and allowing us to draw into more cards. Now, we do have this tech here, is Hoopa EX, the 170 HP Psychic-type Pokemon. It's got the ability Scoundrel Ring, and the thing is, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you can search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon EXs, excluding Hoopa EX, reveal them and put them into your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. Works very well with the Scoundrel Ring here, being able to find both Shaman EX and Hydreigon, and then the Giratina, all those EXs, you can get them all in one shot. And that's it for the Pokemon. Let's take a look at the item cards and whatnot. We have only Level Ball, 4 of these, and 3 Ultra Balls. That's it. And because we're going to be locking ourselves from our item cards, besides Muscle Band, we'll be playing 3 of these. But yeah, I mean, pretty minimal on Muscle Bands. Here's the trick. We do have Ace Trainer here. And then got AZ. Alright, so 3 of these AZs, we are able to pick up the Vileplume, and then we can use these item cards once again, but that may not be necessary. We could use AZ for reasons like, for extra draw support, can AZ up the Shaman and then play him again, or even AZ up the Hoopa EX and then play him again. So there's those kind of scenarios too. We got Lysander here, it's pretty nice, and Pokemon Fan Club, be able to get some more Pokemon out there. We got the Professor Birch's Observation, and 4 Juniper, which could be just basically Professor Sycamore. We got the Shauna here, one of these, and Team Flare Grunt, since we can just kind of discard energies, basic energies, because, you know, we'll be hitting for that 100 damage and then preventing them from playing special energies. So there's that. And then we have the Forest of Giant Plants. Now, I'm only playing 3 of these, and why is that? It's because, well, Chaos Wheel will prevent our opponent from playing stadium cards anyway, and so we have a good opportunity to be able to play stadium cards from our side. And it's not, it's not a bad idea right there. So we can lessen that value right there, and then we're gonna go with 3 muscle bands and 4 double dragon energies, 4 DCEs, 2 of these grass, and 2 of these psychics. So the point of this deck is you can't miss a beat with this chaos wheel. You got to be able to get turn 2 chaos wheel going with a double dragon energy and a DCE, and that's really, that's kind of hard to get since there's only playing 4 copies of each. But we're gonna try to pull it off and see what we can do. And so yeah, that's it for the deck. Let's go ahead and see this deck in action on Pokemon TCG Online. All right, we're going to be playing against Weapon X23. Weapon X, that actually reminds me of Wolverine, because Wolverine's code name was Weapon X, and, that's before, Wolverine was, I believe he was like a secret agent, and, was working with the X-Force, or not the X-Force, but yeah, anyways, I do like comic books, so I'm a big comic book fan, and yeah, so there it is. Here is a Latios EX. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start off. We're going to get an Oddish out here. We really need that forest of giant plants. If we can get that going, that would be great. So we got 5 spaces left, and so this gets a little tricky here. We could play the AZ, or we could play the Ultra Ball. And okay, we're going to go ahead. We're going to play this, and let's just get... We're going to get the Hoopa EX out here, and then let's go ahead and get the Hydreigon. So 1 Hydreigon is missing. Oh, man. All right, so here we go. Okay, so this is... this gets a little intense right here. We could play this Hoopa. For sure, we're gonna play this right here, and I'm just gonna discard this this Shaman right here. We're gonna get the other Shaman. We'll play 2 of these, and so let's go ahead. We're gonna get. So let's see. We got 3 spaces left. Not looking the best right here. We're just gonna go ahead and not get anything, and we're just gonna. I want to thin out my hand, right? So let's go ahead. We'll get the Shaman right here and get this Giratina. We're just gonna grab these 2. We only have 2 spaces left, anyways, and so this is gonna be the route we're gonna take. And yeah, I think this is okay. Yeah, let's just do that. Sure, why not? Okay, so here we go. Got this right there. Got that right there. Let's play this down. Drawing some more cards, and nada. Oh man, we missed it, guys. Okay, so. Alright, so we're just going to end the turn. We might just take the very slow route here, and we'll evolve the Gloom and then just play Juniper maybe, or maybe just wait, hold on to Juniper, maybe discard the Vileplume. Oh no, my opponent plays a Hypnotoxic Laser, and that's not good. So we got to get that DCE going so we can hit this Latios and prevent my opponent from playing anything else. We see the bats right here. Here's a Verbank City Gym. We need to counter that Verbank City Gym for sure. My opponent's going to be putting a lot of pressure here. We can as soon as we see a fast raid, that's going to be 70 damage on our Giratina EX. And man, we actually won't be able to retreat, because Dragon Road, we only have 1 of these Hydreigons. The other Hydreigon is prized, and so we got to watch out for that as well. So these Dragon Pokemon are no longer weak to each other, and that's pretty tragic right there. Yeah, this is not looking the best right now. Here's another Hypnotoxic Laser. My opponent flips tails. Looks like my opponent is ready to get rid of all his item cards right away. And so this is not looking the best right here. All right, so we got Double Dragon Energy. I might just let this Giratina EX sit out here and be a punching bag for us. Really, that's kind of tragic. But I don't know. If anything, I might just promote the Hoopa EX. Let the Hoopa EX take some hits for us. That might be a way out. Otherwise, there's really nothing we can do. Yeah, this is not looking the best. 1 Shaman EX is already in the discard pile. We could just probably slowly evolve this Oddish right here. Off that end, we are not in a very favorable position. But yeah, I don't know. If we can lock my opponent from item cards, that would be really nice. But, ooh, even the Lysander. In case my Giratina EX here retreats, or my opponent might Lysander out the Oddish, or something like that in the next turn. And, yeah, I don't know. Looks like this is not looking very good. So we get hit for 60. That's already, 90 damage. Alright, so here we go. We're just going to counter that. And, yeah, we're going to get knocked out regardless. So I might just play this here. And let's just go ahead. We're just going to have to get this Gloom out here and lock my opponent from item cards. And there it is. So we will end the turn. My opponent can still play supporters, though. Again, that can bring out this Vileplume out to the active spot. That would be no good. Yeah, so looks like that'll be it. And we should expect to see a Lysander bring out the Vileplume. My opponent would be able to hit the Vileplume, and we wouldn't really be able to find a way to retreat the Vileplume at all, which is a little bit tragic. But, you know, I mean, it is what it is. We can hit for 60, and that's a knockout right there. All right, great. So we can bring out this Giratina EX at the very least. And, oh, we even land a Juniper right here. Oh, that's great. We have a Miltank we can play, but I'm not too interested in playing the Miltank. Let's just go for the Chaos Wheel. It's going to be a 2-hit knockout on this Latios EX. We could see my opponent play some more energies, or play the Bats. Bats could be very annoying. But I don't see us getting hit with a Light Pulse anytime soon because, you know, my opponent can't play item cards, so we can't see Ether, and we can't see a double Dragon Energy, nor can we see a DCE. So my opponent's limited to just basic energies right now because of the Chaos Wheel, and we shouldn't see the Stadium get countered either. And so that's about it. Yeah, looks like my opponent can still play again. We can still see a Lysander that can bring out the Vileplume, and that would really set us back because we don't really have anything backed up for the Vileplume unless we have AZ, which could be pretty good. Oh man, there's no no way we can get out of this. All right, so let's just go ahead. We're gonna play this right here. I'm gonna play the Professor Birch's Observation. We do not get AZ. We do have a Team Flare Grunt. So it's gonna end the turn right here. Again, my opponent can still knock out this Vileplume, but if we can top deck an AZ, we play 3 of them. So one of them's already right here, and as long as we get one more AZ, we can pick up the Vileplume and kind of recover that way. Yeah, we really should save these AZs, but I ended up discarding them, I believe. Yeah, we ended up using, did we use Pokemon Fan Club? We did. We used Pokemon Fan Club to get, oh no, here's an AZ. My opponent brings out another Latios EX here. We very well could get knocked out. This Vileplume still has a shot right now. And let's just go ahead and we'll just discard that and end the turn. Oh man, again, my opponent can counter the Stadium, but we do have this right here, so we can play that. But my opponent won't be able to play Hypnotoxic Lasers. And otherwise, we can still see Bats. Alright, so Bats can still come into play. And, oh no, we get End. Aha. Alright, so, well, looks like this Vileplume will go down unless we see an energy. And, nope, the Bat came in and the Bat knocked him out. Okay, so, alright, at least we can play item cards again. So that's kind of nice. And we can power up this Giratina over here too. So this guy's going to get knocked out. We have to deal with this. So we have a Giratina right here. I got to wait and see. Does my opponent have an energy? Hopefully not. And that way we won't get hit for a fast raid. Again, this Latios EX over here was able to get the energy because we missed on you know, the Chaos Wheel. But okay, let's go ahead. We're gonna get, so we got a Gloom right there. If we can pull out Gloom somehow, that would be fantastic. Let's go with Professor Birch's Observation. We did. We got the Gloom, and I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna power this up right here. And here we go. We'll just get rid of these. And here is a Vileplume. And we'll lock my opponent up from item cards once again. Let's go with the Chaos Wheel. Hitting for 100, knocking that guy out. Taking the first 2 prizes. We do get another Hydreigon here. It's a little bit too late for that. So we got the free retreat. But I might just power up this Hydreigon here. We may need to use Shred. You never know when Shred might be a handy attack. And again, we can still see Crowbats coming in and attack the Vileplume or something else on the bench, or even the Giratina in the active spot. For right now, I mean, we have a really good hand here. Too bad one of our Giratinas is already knocked out. We only play 3 of these. I wish I could power up another one here, but we can still power up this guy at the very least, and that'll take 2 turns to power him up for the Shred. I can play this here, and also the DCE. We can just hang on to the Juniper, and if something else gets knocked out, we can play this Hydreigon as well. That way we have free retreat for all of our Dragon Pokemon, and looks like my opponent will retreat. Maybe bring out this Latios over here. It looks like that's going to be happening here. Oh no, we see a Crobat evolve, and that can be attacking, can be surprise biting. Oh man, surprise biting the Giratina right here. That's okay. We got a Giratina here backed up, ready to go. And we got to be very careful here. Now, we did lose 1 Stadium right now, so we got 1 left. We only played 3 of these. My opponent very likely plays 4 Vermix City Gems, so 1's in his discard pile while 1 of ours is still in play. And that's it. So, looks to me like we're just going to power up this guy right here. I mean, there's really no other point to do anything else. Let's just go ahead. We're hit for a Chaos Wheel. It's going to be a 2-hit knockout on this Crobat. We have to deal with this Latios EX. It's going to be a 2-hit knockout there as well. And there's really no way to knock out this Crobat, because even with Muscle Band, we'll be only hitting for 120, and that would be a little bit short. So we can play this right here onto the Hydreigon, and perhaps even just play the Juniper, or wait until we can play this Hydreigon too. That would give us the free retreat for the last 2 Dragon Pokemon here. And really, we could just AZ the Shaman, but I'm going to save the other AZ for the Vileplume in case my opponent Lysander's out the Vileplume again. We don't play any switches because that would be counterintuitive, since you know, we couldn't switch the Vileplume out. Anyways, one way that we could have played this through is Could have gone with the what is it, Floatstone, and before we evolve. So here we go. We'll just knock out that Crobat. Oh, we have Ace Trainer, so we won't be able to use Ace Trainer right now unless my opponent takes another prize, and then we'll shuffle our opponent down to 4. Ooh, here comes the Latios. That's gonna be almost a knockout. My opponent needs to bring out another bat to knock out this Giratina, and it doesn't matter. The Giratina is gonna go down regardless because my opponent would just need a Golbat, and that will finish off the Giratina right here. So there's really no point in doing that. Again, I don't want to play Juniper either because I'm only at 13 cards. And let's just go. We're just gonna go for the Chaos Wheel. Should be able to knock out this Latios in the next turn. My opponent will very likely knock out the Giratina here with a Golbat, as expected. And all right, so we're gonna promote the Hydreigon. I'm gonna let the Hydreigon take a hit for us, and then we're just gonna retreat with the DCE and go on that way. I want to keep this Giratina EX fresh. This Giratina EX is our main attacker here. We want to keep our opponent locked from playing stadium cards and stuff like that. So, yeah, here it is. It's going to hit us for 110, the Light Pulse. We don't play any VS Seekers, so we can't get the Team Flare Grunt back in our hand or anything like that, which wouldn't really matter anyways, unless we had AZ and a VS Seeker, which we can AZ up the Vileplume and then VS Seeker 4. Well, we can't even do that right away anyways, so that's still not the best scenario. That's why we don't really play VS Seeker in this deck, because it's too many steps, too many turns. You gotta have to AZ the Vileplume, and then VS Seeker for the well, I guess you can do that too, and then VS Seeker for the Team Flare Grunt, and then evolve the Vileplume again, and then in the next turn you can use the Team Flare Grunt. So that's kind of a roundabout way to do that, but again, it takes 2 turns to really be able to just use one VS Seeker, and well, use one VS Seeker effectively, because right, technically when you play VS Seeker, you want to use the supporter right away usually. Alright, so here it is. My opponent goes with the Crobat, hits us for 110. We are at 40. Let's go ahead. We're just going to retreat. We do have a Miltank here. But yeah, I want to play the Hydreigon. Might as well get that free retreat. And then let's go ahead. We're going to play the Ace Trainer. Look at that. We actually were able to pull it off. Let's go and get that free retreat onto this Giratina right here. And, you know, we could just play this on the Shaman. Perhaps that might be doable. Yeah, I could see that. Sure. Alright, so we're going to go with that, and let's go with the Chaos Wheel. Knocking out this Latios, tied in prizes, putting my opponent down to 3 cards from that Ace Trainer. And my opponent can still knock this guy out somehow, perhaps maybe playing AZ with the Crobat, playing the Golbat down here somehow, and then doing a skill dive. That can knock out this Hydreigon, putting 30 damage, and then a skill dive, another 30 damage, that'll knock him out. So my opponent will still need a basic energy. Very good game, my opponent says, and indeed it is. My opponent probably won, but it's still fun. Very fun indeed. Very fun game. And oh, thank you. Yes. All right. Thanks. All right. Smiley face. There we go. Okay. So again, my opponent can still win this if my no, that's it. My opponent just does that. So we have to be very wary, and I want to eliminate all threats. All right. So let's take a look here. 1 DCE is already in discard pile. We have 1 AZ left. All right. So unless that AZ is the last card that's prized, we have 1 AZ left, and so that's 1 DC right there, and a DCE on this Shaman. So all of our DCEs have been used up. So that would mean I actually want to AZ this Hydreigon. I don't want to take anything for chances right now. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Should we undo that? Let's see. Yeah, you know, we're gonna go with this. Let's just go ahead. We're gonna hit for a Chaos Wheel, and yeah, let's hit for the Chaos Wheel. So it's gonna be a 2-hit knockout on this Crobat. My opponent will survive the turn, and oh wow, my opponent will deck out here as well. And again, see, the thing is, my opponent could have still knocked out this right here, but it looks like that's it. All right, so we have this, and it's GG. We'll just go ahead and we'll knock out this Crobat. And so, all right. I needed to make sure, I needed to guarantee that the Hydreigon would not get knocked out, because again, my opponent could have AZ'd the active Crobat, and then evolved on the Golbat on the bench, and then all he needed was a basic energy, which he can still play, because he can still play 3 things, right? Basic energies, Pokemon, and supporters. As long as he had an AZ, that Hydreigon on the bench was still in the danger zone. It could have still gotten knocked out. And so that was kind of a very, I don't know what to say, like, just super extra caution, because, like, he had a big hand size. You can see right there at the end of the game, he had 8 cards. So the likelihood of having 8, he just needed 2 cards, really. Just 2 cards, AZ and Basic Energy. If he had that, he would have won the game. And so I had to AZ up the Giratina, and even if my opponent Lysandred out the Vileplume, I was able to get the AZ top deck that in the next turn. So I was able to just AZ up the Vileplume as well. So, all right, that's it. That was a pretty compelling match. That was actually pretty fun. That was very enjoyable. Got to see Giratina EX in action, locking up my opponent from special energies, stadiums, and item cards from the Vileplume's Irritating Pollen. So what do you guys think of this deck? If you guys liked it, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button right below this video. And if you are a returning subscriber, thanks so much for joining me in epic and countless adventures on Pokemon TCG Online. I'll see you guys later. You guys have a wonderful day. Goodbye.